He was fresh out of a job. He missed coaching. He got out of the Fox booth to come to Denver. And then here we are 2 years later. The Broncos have navigated what was one of the lowest points in franchise history. And now I'd say they're arguing at one of their highest. And in 3 years, it's crazy. Sean Payton's done a terrific job with that.
It's amazing, Cody, and especially because I love the question that he was asked, and you referenced it in the show open about being back in high stakes moments after spending a year working for Fox Sports. I mean, I think that it's even more so now with like Mike Tomlin stepping away from the Pittsburgh Steelers and, Sean after having that long run with the New Orleans Saints. And what I love that he said, I'm just going to read his quote verbatim because I think that so many of us can relate to this. He said, "We're all sold on what retirement's going to be like, on a lake somewhere with a fishing pole, some company's selling you." He said, "It's a little overrated that way relative to having a purpose and getting up." And I think that's such a relatable comment to me, like when you dream of, oh my gosh, I get to have all this time off. I get to, go get the fishing pole and go get on the lake and go retire and go enjoy my life. But what Sean said about waking up and having a purpose every single day, this is what you live for. If you're a football coach, if you're a football player, you live for these big moments. And for fans of the team, this is what it's all about. We have not seen this in 10 years, a home playoff game for the Denver Broncos. I mean, it's understandable to be introspective ahead of a game like this because the regular season was its own beast that you had to conquer. Now the new journey starts, and I love Sean Payton's perspective there.
Yeah, and look, I also think you can make the comparison too. He was talking about the proverbial racetrack of life, so to speak. And in that team meeting, he was talking to players about, there's going to be a time where every single one of you at some point is going to have to get off that track. And he says that time is not right now. I think you can make the same analogy here for them just being in the NFL playoffs, right? Everybody right now is on this track to the Super Bowl, and they're going around and around and around, and it's trying to figure out who's going to get there, right? And at some point, teams have to exit, or cars have to exit the racetrack. Denver wants to stay on the track. They want to keep, the rubber to the road here, so to speak, here in this matchup against the Buffalo Bills. So I felt like there was some really great insight there from Sean. Once again, Sean, I people I think sometimes take for granted just how much he wants things, right? And how much success he wants this team to have. Like he is maniacal about the little details. Like those are the things I don't think get highlighted enough. We see, the idea of like, hey, I'm going to be this play caller. We're going to try to get the offense going. But like Sean, I don't even know what the right word is. He perseverates, I would say, on the things that aren't working, and he does whatever he can to go through and try to fix it. Like red zone, he was talking about the red zone. We know that has been a problem here for Denver, and he brought up the notion. He said, "I got 2 years of tape of us in the red zone here, and I probably wasn't very fun in the red zone meeting that we had the other night." But he's trying to find any way to give this team the edge and to be able to pass that on to the players. I have so much respect for that. I grew up football. Football was my life. I played it. I coached it. I've been around guys like that, and I understand it. And once again, it just brings me back to my own personal things that I have with this game of football. But I think as it relates to this team here, Sarah, Sean also talked about play calling, right? Because one of the bigger areas of emphasis this week has to be running the football against this Buffalo Bills defense. And at times, all season long, we've sat here on this show previewing games saying, hey, is this the week the run game gets consistently going? This is the week. This is the week. Well, here we are more than 18 weeks after the fact. There have been some games where Denver's done a really good job with it, right? But we're talking about the